Hey, what is going on, you crusty Caterpie? That's right, there's another Fusion Strike deck out there besides Mew VMAX, and it's the Hoopa V. Now, Hoopa V, 220 HP, basic Pokemon. They got the two-faced ability, which is basically the only reason this Pokemon is viable in the current format, to be honest. I mean, it is Dark type, which Mew VMAX is the most popular deck, the best deck, and is weak to Dark, so that is also why Hoopa V is good as well, because it hits Mew VMAX for weakness, so you want to KO them. But the two-faced ability means it's also Psychic type, so not only are we one-hit KOing Mew VMAX, we're one-hit KOing Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX and Single Strike Urshifu VMAX, which gives this Hoopa V deck a pretty good matchup spread just based on the Hoopa V. There's a little bit more to it as far as attackers goes that we have in the deck, not too much more, I guess, but Hoopa V, the main attacker, one hit KO the Mew VMAX, one hit KO the Urshifus. You're already in a pretty good spot. Alongside that, we play the Genesect, and this is the other attacker in the deck. We don't use it quite as often, and we don't use it every single game, but sometimes we want to take advantage of not being weak to grass and instead being weak to fire and resistance to grass. So up against like a Leafeon VMAX, this could come in handy. Or we want to be take advantage of our opponent's weakness to metal, like if we're up against an Ice Rider VMAX deck, so that we can use the Genesect as our main attacker instead of the Hoopa. So we got another weakness to take advantage of with this deck, with the Genesect V. And then the last two Pokemon we have in this deck is we have an Oricorio, because we're trying to make stuff pretty tanky in this deck. We're trying to make our Hoopas and our Genesects pretty tanky. Not only do we have the Oricorio, reduce the damage we take by 20, we also play the Surchester's Bath, reduce the damage we take by 20 again. If the Stadium sticks, it doesn't always stick. But then also, something that we can more consistently rely on is the Capes of Toughness. We got 3 of those in here. Put them on the 3 Vs we plan to use to attack with throughout the game, and that keeps them pretty high HP and most of the time out of a one-hit KO ranges, which is what we're shooting for, or at least makes our opponent work really hard to get the one-hit KO, like triple quad tablet sometimes comes up from the Mew VMAX deck, of course. And the last Pokemon we have in here is 2 Articuno V with the Reconstitute ability. That's the main reason we use it. We actually can't attack with the Articuno V. Now, it's not a Fusion Strike Pokemon, but Reconstitute does discard 2 cards from our hand and then draws a card. So it draws a card, which is just, drawing a card, and then it discards 2 cards from the hand, which means we can draw more cards with our Fusion Strike system. So it's not the same as having another Genesect on our bench, but it doesn't hurt our draw power that much, and that's kind of what we're not benching in place of our third Genesect. So we're going like 2 Hoopa, 2 Genesect. The Oricorio, depending on the matchup, not always, and sometimes we actually like send up Oricorio just to kind of get KO'd off the start, especially up against the Mew VMAX matchup. And then Articuno fills up our last bench space. So only 2 Genesect in play. Usually we still play 4 because getting out Genesect really fast and aggressively into play is still a very big deal. But the reason we play the Articuno V is because we play Turbo Patch. It's one of the main ways we accelerate energy to be able to attack with Hoopa. Unlike the Mew VMAX and like the Meloetta that take 2 energy to attack, the Hoopa and the Genesect both take 3 energy to attack, so quite a bit more. That's actually quite a big difference. We still have the Elsa Sparkle as acceleration with our Fusion Strike energy, and we can still attach for turn, but that's not quite enough. So we play 4 Turbo Patch in here to kind of smooth things over and keep us consistently attacking from turn 2 on. Even sometimes turn 1 with like a Turbo Patch or 2 heads, we could be attacking on turn 1 with this deck. So we got the Battle VIP Pass Cram-O-Matic engine in here, along with Quick Balls and Rotom Phones. We play 4 Energy Search actually because we want a lot of outs to our energy because we want to attach for turn constantly, and then also we want to get them into the hand so we can get them into the discard pile through Quick Ball or the Reconstitute from the Articuno V. So we play 4 Energy Search, but we don't want to play like 9 basic energy because then it would clog up our hand really aggressively, and then we want to be able to draw as many cards with the Fusion Strike system. So instead of playing a lot of basic energy, we play a couple basic energy, only 5 here, 4 basic dark, and then 1 metal to help us attack a little bit more consistently with the Genesect. And it also doesn't ever hurt us. We can't ever like draw into like, because of the Hoopa's attack is 2 dark and a colorless, the Oricorio is a fire energy and a colorless, we can never actually get punished for like having the metal energy in our hand. If we play 2 of them, then we could hit back-to-back metal energies and not be able to attack with Hoopa potentially. But with just the 1 basic metal, it never screws up our energy stuff. So yeah, 4 Energy Search. It keeps the deck moving, keeps the deck flowing. Of course, Fusion Strike System, an insane ability. Like I mentioned, using that Cram-O-Matic Battle VIP Pass engine alongside with Quick Balls, some Rotom Phones. The only supporters we play in here is 3 Elsa Sparkle and 3 Boss's Orders. And then I do play 1 Marnie in here because I was finding that the game's go on a little bit longer than like a Mew VMAX type deck does. So having a late game Little bit of disruption towards the end of the game through the Marnie is nice. So I added one Marnie in here for that, just for those late game scenarios where our opponent is ahead and they've kind of sat on their hand the whole game, kind of built up their hand the whole game, because we don't play Marnie throughout the game because we only play the one. We're trying to use Elsa Sparkles or bosses pretty much every turn, but we're not quite as fast or aggressive as something like a Mew VMAX deck, so we can't just aggressively close out the game. Can't get ahead as often as something like a Mew VMAX deck can either. So sometimes when we fall behind, we either have to hope our opponent just doesn't have it, or we can help it out a little bit by playing something like a Marnie, disrupting their hand, and then hoping they don't have it after all that. So the one of Marnie has been nice for those late game situations, because our games do go on a little bit longer than something like a Mew VMAX deck. Then yeah, I mentioned the energy, couple air balloons, couple switch, and I have a one of switching cups in here. I've been trying this out in Fusion Strike decks in general, because it can help us put cards that we have in our hand on top of our deck to play around scenarios. Like if we have a Fusion Strike energy in our hand, we can use switching cups, put it to the top of the deck, and then Elsa Sparkle it back into play to get another energy excelled into play for the turn. Or we can like switching cups a stadium on top of the deck up against like a Jolteon deck with Path to the Peak, so that way if they put Path to the Peak in play and they don't Marnie us, we top deck it, so then we just bump their Path to the Peak. Or if they do Marnie us, then they Marnie us into the stadium, and then we can put that in play and once again bump their Path to the Peak. So really cool to make cute plays like that. I'm not sold on them yet, so I only have one in here. Still been trying it out, maybe need another to try and get a little bit more value out of it, but the idea is good behind it. Just need to test it out to see how well it actually executes. And that's the Hoopa V deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, give it a like, and if you're enjoying the content and you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and let's go ahead, let's get into some games. All right, we won the coin flip, and we will be going at first, looking for an energy on a Hoopa and a couple Genesects, usually on our first turn. We're gonna get two set up, but yeah, get things moving, get things flowing. We ideally also don't want a Hoopa in our active, or at least the Hoopa we put energy on we don't want in our active. I guess it depends a little bit on the matchup, to be honest. So we're gonna open the Genesect because it is a little bit matchup dependent, actually, if we care or don't care. So we'll see what our opponent's playing as well. That will also be a factor. Double mulligan. How did I mulligan that many times? Battle VIP Pass is a pretty sick top deck though, actually. That's kind of insane. That's like really good. All right, Battle VIP Pass. Gonna go ahead and grab ourselves. We actually want to end up with Oricorio in our active, so if they use Meloetta, they only get one prize card. So I'm gonna get a Genesect, and we have a Genesect in the active. Get a Genesect and maybe grab the Oricorio already. Yeah, Genesect Oricorio. Go to my Hoopa. Quick Ball the Dark Energy. It's another Hoopa. We want to make sure our Genesect draws are as much as possible to start with. We don't need the Oricorio or the Articuno quite yet. We can get that later. Got the switch. Got the bath. We could switch into Oricorio. Okay. I'm gonna play the Rotom Phone. Okay, more options. I'm gonna go with the. I mean, I want the triple Hoopa. So that'll be a VIP Pass, I guess, because it is kind of just like a dead card. I can throw out the Surchester's Bath as well. Just like for 2. Battle VIP Pass. Get the Articuno in play. And then probably just pass, I think. Yeah, get the Articuno in play, just pass. Nah, it sounds good to me. Grammatic in the hand. Yeah, we want to get down the Hoopas. But I don't know if I want to. What I want to bet, like if they KO if they get the Oricorio, they might not KO the Oricorio as well, which will, to be honest, make things a little bit more awkward for me. I feel like I think that'll make things more awkward for me than not. We'll see. It feels like it'll make things a little bit awkward. But yeah, we'll see if they get the Oricorio knockout, or even go for it. They don't have to go for the knockout of my Oricorio, but it looks like they are going for it with as they grab this Meloetta, switch into the Mew. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna try to get a little bit aggressive here. Here comes the Sparkle, and yeah, that will KO my Oricorio, the Meloetta attack. Okay, so we can push up a Hoopa, start swinging with Hoopa hopefully on the next turn. We need to find a Sparkle ourselves. I actually don't need to find a Sparkle. It would just be good to find a Sparkle, so we're gonna be looking for a Sparkle. I might have to Cramomatic away a Cramomatic. We don't really want to Cramomatic away Cramomatic. If we can find other item cards to kind of move along, give ourselves more chances at that Elsa Sparkle, that would be ideal. But we'll probably go with that off the rip. We'll see. And my opponent's setting up super well here. And we do need to try and set up another Hoopa. We need to set up like more than one Hoopa. We need more than one Hoopa set up. So yeah, also Sparkle is going to be ideal. Would also love to get some capes on the Hoopas to make it a little bit more awkward for my opponent to get the response knockout with their Mew VMAX. So some capes would be nice as well. Here comes the Melodious Echo. Goodbye, Oricorio. And yeah, we're going to send up our Hoopa here. Here we get off our top deck. Quick Ball. This does let me Cramomatic away the Quick Ball instead. Which I guess I was talking about that. But I could also Quick Ball away the boss and get the third Genesect in play. Which I actually kind of like a little bit more, I think. Get a third Genesect in play sounds a little bit better. And then we're going to Cramomatic away the Cramomatic. Get a heads. Hey, there we go. Sparkle. 3 left. Only 2 basic darks left. But our opponent did hook us up with this training court that we could possibly utilize later on. Draw some cards with Genesect. Let's see what we get. Cramomatic got the cape I was talking about, as well. That's great. So this here, Cramomatic away the Quick Ball. Tails, another draw for 5 off the Genesect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got a Turbo Patch. Gonna go ahead and play that. Tails. I'm gonna go ahead and use. We have a switch we could use. We don't have anything to switch into. Okay. Actually, I could do this first. I could thin out a Dark Energy. And then get rid of it. And then we have the Training Court to recover an energy at the end of the turn instead. Got the Sparkle. Draw a couple more. We still have a Fusion Strike energy in the deck as well. And then I am going to go with the Training Court play, recover the Dark Energy. And then we will finally hit with the Shadow Impact to knock out this Meloetta. And I'll probably go ahead and hit one of the Genesects here for 30. I would have liked a cape for this Hoopa. And I maybe should have gone and found one, to be honest. Yeah, I maybe should have gone and found a cape there for that Hoopa. But I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. Maybe should have, but I think it's okay if we don't. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. Another Meloetta down from my opponent, but it looks like they're going to be attacking with the Mew VMAX. But they could also Sparkle to the Mew or the Meloetta, to be honest. And they do have 2 Fusion Strike energy left, so they could set up the Meloetta and another Mew here. So then we're going to try and go like KO Mew VMAX and then KO Mew V. It's going to be our game plan if they go about that route. That would actually be kind of scary, to be honest, if they get that set up. Another 2 energy Elsa Sparkle would be pretty terrifying, to be honest. That would be scary. It'd be a lot. And there's a boss on my Genesect, so completely playing around my Hoopa as well. They won't be able to do that next turn, though. They won't be able to do that next turn because they will have no energy in play. So we definitely want to try and get 2 capes on our Hoopas, just in case they do play like an escape rope. To try and play for an easier prize card knockout. We do want to get, and this actually sets up so I can boss their Mew V on their next turn, actually. So actually this kind of sets up pretty well for us, actually. I don't really mind that my opponent ended up being able to go this route. All right, so we're just gonna go with the Elsa Sparkle, like I mentioned. Over here to my Hoopa V. Check my switch cards. I have no switch cards left. Oh, we have an Air Balloon left. Okay, so we can play off that pretty heavily. I'm gonna throw this here, switch over here. Play the just reconstitute for. I'm gonna play the Rotom Phone, I think. Grab. Quick Ball is pretty tempting. Grab the Quick Ball on top. And there's just the concede. I guess 2 Hoopa setup is too much, and to be honest, we were in a pretty good spot. I don't think it was possible for us to lose that game anymore at that point. That was gonna be a dub in just a couple of turns, and that's what this deck is all about. Beating Mew VMAX. All right, here we go again. This time going second, so a little bit less ideal, I guess you could say. I think I prefer to open. We played 4 Genesects, so I'm gonna open the Genesect over the Articuno. I guess I've really never thought too much about that play. Our opening hand is pretty sick, though. We got basically everything we want in an opening hand. We're up against another Mew VMAX, this time with Crushing Hammers. That can make things a little bit more difficult for sure. I'm definitely scared of those Crushing Hammers. I'm not gonna lie, those are scary. But so we got a pretty good start here. I kind of want to save this boss. Definitely gonna be looking for a turn 1 Sparkle. Got the VIP pass, got a phone. Yeah, hand is looking good. Kind of want to save the boss. We can. Might just give it up off of the reconstitute, though. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest. We'll see how it goes. Opponent looks like they have a pretty good start themselves. Just missing like an energy at the very least. And there it is. Energy for the Mew V. So boss turn 2, knock out my Hoopa could happen, so we're gonna try and get a couple energy in place, split them up a little bit, see what we can do with that. There's a Meloetta as well. Let's see, my opponent has a pretty good start as well. And try and get a cape on whatever Hoopa we put 2 energy on. So that's what we're gonna be looking for. A couple Hoopas, Elsa Sparkle, attached to one over the other, and get the cape on the one we attach to. Get a cape on a Hoopa with 2 energy is the goal on this first turn here. There's their last. I don't know if is that their last. They might have one more Genesect actually. Okay, looks like that was their last Genesect. I was like, I'm unsure at this point. Okay, I'm gonna start with the Battle VIP Pass. Hoopa, Genesect. And I would like to get out the Oricorio into the active in case my opponent does whiff. Looks like another thing we're going to look for here. Show this here. I think I am going to go ahead and Rotom Fund and then Articuno away Boss and the energy to get the Elsa Sparkle. There it is. Go to Boss and the energy. Getting energy in the discard pile. Pretty big deal to do as soon as possible, to be honest, so that way when we find our turbo patches, they start to flow, and they're not just kind of sitting on our hand not doing anything. We also want to get an attachment for turn. We got all 4 basic energy in the deck and plenty of energy switches as well, so it should be pretty likely to get one of those as well. Yeah, like I said, we want to find that Oricorio and we want an attachment. We want a cape. Got the attachment. The switching cups. I almost want a switching cups. We could just Chromatic the switching cups, but I almost want to switching cup the energy and hope to top deck something better. Sand is like not great. Let's go with the Chromatic. I think that feels a little bit safer. Okay. We lose the switching cups, unfortunately, which means we can't put it back on top of the deck. The Fusion Strike energy and so on, but that's fine. I think I'm gonna go for a cape here. Because we have more outs to basic Pokemon than we do the cape. So yeah, it feels better to go like that. And hey, there's the quick ball. Quick ball away, another dark energy. Grab the Oricorio, put that on the bench. And then we still have 1 Fusion Strike energy left in the deck. Whoa, okay. That we can get with the Elsa Sparkle on the next turn. So we got everything we wanted. We got the Oricorio into the active. We got the Hoopa on the bench with the cape and 2 energy. We've got the Bath in play as well, so it's a little bit harder. Things a little bit tankier now. It's got effectively 310 HP, to be honest. That's actually more than I thought, but we are up against Crushing Hammer Mew, so that's like another obstacle we're gonna have to overcome. Thankfully, I guess we don't have to do anything. We just need our opponent to flip tails. And then I guess if they hit some heads, hopefully we hit some heads with our own turbo patches. So we got some flips we can throw back at our opponent if it comes down to it. Yeah, we got some flips as well we can throw back at our opponent if we have to. Hopefully we don't. Some games we don't even have to play a single turbo patch, kind of like the last game. We played a turbo patch, we got tails. That was kind of it. Elsa Sparkle from my opponent. Looks like we might not have to worry about the potential of a boss this turn. Might just be a swing with a Meloetta from my opponent, which I would much rather deal with that. For sure. Let's see, the Meloetta set up. They could just chill for a turn though. But then, of course, they risk us drawing into Boss and Boss knocking out their Mew VMAX, which, I mean, that'd be really good for us. Wouldn't be very good for my opponent, though. So I bet, yeah, if they can get a knockout, I think they're going to. But well, they can still free retreat it. I was like, they switched it to the Mew VMAX. I was like, I mean, you could use the Meloetta. And I think that's probably going to be ideal for them. I think we're going to Boss KO this Mew VMAX, though. If we can get a Boss, I might just use the Elsa Sparkle, though. I don't actually know. Because this thing does way less damage. Not way less damage, I guess. Maybe we should just take out that. If they put another Fusion Strike energy in play, they're doing about the same amount of damage. And they just actually don't have a ton of tablets left to get through my capes, to be honest. Okay, so we're going to start with the Sparkle, because I think my 4th one's in there. It is. Throw that here. Attach here. Turbo Patch there. If we get a heads, did get a heads. Crispy. Draw some cards with the Genesect. Another Turbo Patch, but I don't want a Turbo Patch if there's nothing good to attach to. Awkward hand, to be honest. A little bit awkward. All right, we're gonna go like this. Get a Tails. Genesect for 2, I guess. We need like another Hoopa or something. Okay. Or another Genesect, to be honest, might be just better. Just go with another Genesect to draw some more cards. We're gonna hold the Turbo Patch here. See if we can use Reconstitute. Maybe this turn still to draw some more cards. Nothing really worth reconstituting. I think we're just gonna retreat and attack. Yeah, let's just do it. Shadow Impact. Get this knockout. I'll put 30 on, I guess, the Genesect. Yeah, we got this knockout. 30 on a Genesect. That's fine. Holding on to our energy recovery is fine. There's our Marnie. Like I said in the intro, we use that for like late games when we're trying to just like disrupt our opponent's hand in the late game. It's a couple times in comp where I'm just like, I just want a Marnie. I just want to be able to Marnie them. Against usually slower matchups, the Mew VMAX matchup, I don't know, the Marnie might just be good to draw cards, to be honest, on this next turn. I wouldn't hate being able to just see more turbo patches, find ourselves that next Hoopa, and so on. But usually we're using that and we're like, okay, we want to use this. We want to get ourselves some disruption. We want to disrupt our opponent's hand. That's usually the idea behind using it, more so than anything. This matchup, I feel like a little bit less so. A little bit less so for sure. Okay, only 2 Fusion Strike energy in place. The Meloetta is not hitting very hard. I could still KO my Genesect though, but they did Elsa Sparkle, so they're not bossing this turn. Are they just going to attack with Meloetta this turn? It doesn't seem very good. I don't think that's very good at all. I mean, I like that. Yeah, Meloetta's coming up. I mean, we can just knock it. And there's the concede. Another Mew down. Another one bites the dust.